Sura School Guides 2023 to 24 edition for school orders and specimen copy.
For online one-to-one music lessons with top musicians, visit BMusician.com.
Hello and welcome to Galata Plus. In this video review episode, we are going to be talking about Nitesh Tiwari's Bawaal starring Varun Dhawan and Janhvi Kapoor. The film is an engaging melodrama, but it has a clunky and messagey closing stretch. It didn't bother me too much, so here's the full review. It's going to have spoilers, so do watch at your own discretion. Now I'm going to begin with the late scene in this film Bawaal. Ajay and Nisha, that is the married couple played by Varun Dhawan and Janhvi Kapoor, they play a drinking game where they reveal things about one another, like favorite books, favorite films, that sort of thing. After a while, Ajay points out that they have nothing in common. Nisha, ever the optimist, asks, but is it necessary to be in agreement all the time? Put differently, she's asking if they cannot live happily despite their differences. Extrapolate this idea from a relationship to geopolitics and we have this really big thought. Yes, we are all different countries, different races, but do those differences have to come in the way of peace and happiness and the basic things that would fit into a suitcase for our limited journey on this earth? Can't we all just get along? Let's rewind and begin with the beginning. Ajay is a cool dude in Lucknow, and as he rides through the streets on his bullet, the black and white frames turn into somewhat desaturated color. This is not a bright, blingy movie. Even the mandatory wedding song and dance sequence looks a little faded, like an old photograph. As we will see later, there is a reason for this two-tone palette. Bawaal deals with two sets of contrasts, the past and the present, the outside and the inside. Ajay may be a preening stud on the outside, but inside he is damaged goods. It's ironically funny that in a fit of rage he calls the epileptic Nisha a defective piece. At least her defect is on the outside and something that can be controlled with medication. His defect is deep-rooted. Through a web of lies, he has carefully cultivated an image of being a cool dude. In reality, he knows he's a loser, and so that image that he's cultivated, that is everything to him. So we know that this story by Janhvi Tiwari is going to humanize Ajay and peel off the facade. But the means to this end is most interesting and very ambitious. Ajay is a history teacher, and through a series of incidents, he ends up with Nisha traveling through the important World War II cities in Europe, and from there he sends videos to students about Anne Frank's house and the Normandy invasion and the Auschwitz concentration camp and so forth. But of course, Ajay is the one who is really being educated. The things he keeps complaining about are nothing compared to the horrors that have unfolded in these very places. The selflessness of these war heroes makes Ajay reflect on his own self-centered behavior. The trip makes him feel things for the first time. Nisha teases him that he of all people has become emotional, he's become philosophical. Bawaal says that if we crawl out of our shell and see the wider world, we will become better people. And for a long time, the film says this without actually saying it. The screenplay is structured around a series of wars. First, we have the Cold War between Ajay and Nisha. They are married in name only. He is terrified that if he takes her out and she gets an epileptic fit, then his image will go for a toss. Then we have the war that Ajay instigates by slapping a student who happens to be the son of a legislator. The powerful man invades the school and launches an offensive on Ajay. Finally, there is the war that Ajay has within himself, the constant battle between the person that he is and the person that he wants to be seen as. Just as Hitler ostracized non-Aryans, Ajay ostracizes anyone who's a danger to his image, and this includes Nisha. Varun plays the early parts of Ajay in the larger-than-life Judwa mode, the stud kind of thing, and slowly slips into the vulnerable Sui Dhaga zone as he becomes grounded by the gravity of life. He really gets across the spirit of this man-child that Ajay is. But it's Janhvi who grounds the narrative with a remarkably restrained performance, and of course she's helped a lot by the way the character is written. Before marriage, Nisha was independent and outgoing. She loses some of that vim in Ajay's home, but rediscovers her zest for life in Europe. If Ajay is war, Nisha is peace. She is at peace with everything, including her defect. She doesn't hide it, and she does not want to stop living her life because of it. She slaps Ajay when he mocks her condition. There is a bit of a war inside her too, but mostly Nisha is a pacifist. She harbors some hope that things will still work out between them. It's a nice touch that her mother suggests divorce and she decides to wait. She's an optimist. Like John Lennon, she wants to give peace a chance. Some of the film's loveliest passages have Ajay and Nisha finally talking. She is the kind who reads Tolstoy and Tagore, so she is more evolved in her thoughts than Ajay is. She slowly tells him things, for instance, that the alienation that Ajay feels in France is not all that different from the alienation that a woman feels when she enters a husband's home. Like Satya Prem Ki Katha, this is broad, solid storytelling from the time Bollywood used to be called Hindi cinema, and like that earlier movie, the issues are touched upon gently with even bits of comedy thrown in. The comic portions involving a Gujarati family, they don't really feel off because until the last half hour or so, Bawaal treats its material with a wonderfully light touch. The only serial offender is a melodramatic solo violin. The progression of places is gradual from Paris to Auschwitz, that is from the least horrific to the most, and Ajay's education is equally gradual. In Paris, he slowly begins to see Nisha as an ally, and the biggest image factor he has to let go occurs in a concentration camp in Auschwitz, where he realizes that he has been as cruel to Nisha as the Nazis have been to non-Aryans. Some viewers are surely going to be repelled by this whole conceit, and they may say that the film reduces World War II to a self-help marriage manual, but I bought this because I had a similar experience in southern Vietnam when I crawled through the claustrophobic, barely lit tunnels built by the Viet Cong soldiers. These things have a way of rewiring your very soul and altering your entire perspective, and the only big issue I had with Bawaal is that the last half an hour turns into a clunky melodrama, hammering home points that were elegantly hinted at earlier. The story narrated by an Auschwitz survivor is so on the nose that he seems to have made it up just to get Ajay and Nisha back together. It feels utterly contrived. Every relationship goes through its own version of Auschwitz, the man says. Suddenly, we are in a message movie. But like in Tarla, another melodrama produced by Nitesh and Ashwini Iyer Tiwari, the overall picture comes through. There's a rare kind of simplicity and elegance here. Cinematographer Mitesh Mirchandani does some excellent work, as do the writers, well, except for that last half an hour. Ajay's conversion is utterly convincing. At first, he warms up to Nisha simply because he needs someone to talk to, and slowly he sees her for who she is and also sees himself for who he is. As for Nisha, the image of her smiling at the sights of Paris through her car window is something that has stayed in my mind. Despite being stuck in a rotten marriage, she has found a reason to be happy. That really is the attitude that wins wars. And that's it about Bawaal. If you like this video review, do subscribe to Galata Plus and see you soon at the movies.
Sura School Guides 2023-24 edition. For school orders and specimen copy.
For online one-to-one music lessons with top musicians, visit BMusician.com.